What's going on?
Fluffy the Freedom Eagle, your services are required.
My services? What? How did I get here?
NASA needs you to cover for Simon Dan, so we brought you here.
Brought me here? How?
The implant you let us give you.
Now see, I wouldn't say I let you. You put it there whilst I was asleep.
We upgraded it. We can now teleport you wherever we need to put you.
Right, okay, so I've got two questions. First of all, how much did this cost?
What is NASA's budget?
About 20 billion a year, I think?
Yes, that much. We had to postpone Artemis.
And secondly, you know I could have made a video to cover Simon Dan from home, right? You could have just phoned me and asked.
Don't you have a video to make, Fluffy?
FTFE stands for Fight the Flat Earth. Hey, I'm FTFE. I'm from the channel that does to stupidity what Nathan Thompson did to the Jeopardy theme tune. Thanks to Simon Dan for asking me to cover for him, not that I had much choice, whilst he takes time to bathe in the tears of all the flat earthers that he's made cry. A little warning though, I'm a little more, shall we say, savage than Simon Dan is. Any of you happen to enjoy that kind of thing, I'm sure Dan will be kind enough to put a card to my channel up there so you can go and subscribe. But let's talk about flat earthers. Their go-to response when faced with things that kill their religion, like pictures from space, is, "That's fake. It's CGI. NASA means to lie in Hebrew and was founded by Nazis." Well, that's because flat earthers are all morons that have to deny space travel or their fairy tale falls apart. On May 30th, 2020, SpaceX made history by launching people into space from American soil for the first time in 9 years. And of course, this sent the flat earth conspiracy dumbasses into meltdown. Let's start with CC, Chris, from West Chesterfield.
I never understood that, even when I was in high school.
Well, isn't that flat earthers all over?
SpaceX, what a pathetic show that was.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty awesome. I mean, just look at this badassery.
15 minutes or 20 minutes of footage? Of what?
Of them launching two people into space. CC, have you seen the video?
Of total nonsense. And then the thing landed back down. That was the, whatever, space shuttle. Well, not the space shuttle. I mean the land gear that decided to land down. And, of course, the camera goes out. Like it always does.
Like it always does. Honestly, Chris, at this point, I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing. They have recorded the boosters landing on drone ships many, many times. Granted, not always successfully. But the reason it often does cut out is simple. It's a drone ship with a satellite uplink. That feed requires a direct, uninterrupted line of sight. So when there is a rocket weighing several tons about to land on it, it causes vibrations that disrupt this signal. But here's the thing. People watch those drone ships go out to sea. And when they come back, they have these big-ass rocket boosters on them. Where did they get them, and why are they all covered in soot?
I have no idea how it works. Okay, all I know, okay, is what you're watching is all fake. It's all bullshit. They're not going anywhere. There's nothing up there. I mean, there's nothing up there.
I have no idea how it all works. Isn't that just the mating cry of the flat earther? The fact you morons haven't a clue how things work is why you say there's nothing up there. Maybe if one of you lot took a physics course, instead of chugging down tins of lead paint, you would. have an idea how it all works. Cece, your ignorance is not a valid argument against something. Read a f***ing book. I wonder if the people you live with put up with your crap.
The sun was standing.
Why don't you stop this bullshit?
Idiot. They're not even any f***ing satellites, and if they are, then they're tied up with a f***ing balloon. Just look at YouTube videos with balloons with satellites on it.
CC giving us a glimpse there of the typical flat earther.
Vince, apparently they prefer the word retard.
Eh? Oh, how very quaint.
Research. A YouTube video. And let's look at that claim about satellites being balloons, shall we? Why don't you take a trip to the remedial classroom, Chris? Alright, be quiet, settle down. Sleeping warrior, take the pencils out your nose. And Miss Thompson, are you eating the chips of paint again? No, they aren't vegan, they're lead-based, and your brain is damaged enough. Please pay attention. A lot of you, shall we say, special students keep saying that satellites are just balloons. And although there have been temporary balloon-mounted weather monitoring systems, that doesn't mean that all satellites are just balloons. Because satellites do things that balloons physically can't. For instance, an American satellite called GEOES-3, or the Geostationary Operational Environment Satellite System, was in operation for 38 years. Launched in 1978 and placed into a geostationary orbit, it was used for weather forecasting for the USA until, once unusable for its original design, it was repurposed as a communications satellite until being decommissioned in 2016. The position of satellites can be tracked by anybody, and a geostationary orbit requires a satellite to be 22,236 miles above the surface of Earth and to have a tangential speed of 1.91 miles per second. Under all known laws of physics, there are no balloons capable of reaching those heights or speeds, let alone maintaining them for 38 years. Now, some homework for you guys. There is a video online by Red's Rhetoric where him and a friend called Astronomy Live measured the speed and distance to the ISS. Please go and watch it and try not to get lost on the way home. I've told you those flat earth maps don't work. Let's move on to another f***ing idiot, sorry I mean flat earther, who calls himself Level Earth Observer. I've covered him once before on my channel where he said that cranes prove the earth is flat. And I know Simon Dan has covered him a few times as well. He has an issue with the astronauts after they arrived at the ISS and docked. Let's hear what stupid he comes up with.
Meanwhile, supposedly in the ISS, the two heroes have just joined the ISS, coming through the hatch. Pay particular attention to our mate here on the right in the black top.
Yes, they are absolutely heroes. They've achieved something that very few humans have managed to do. They studied and worked hard for years to even be considered, to be accepted into astronaut training, and we should look up to them and strive to be like them. Of course, the mentally deficient herd you hang around in probably don't have the qualities NASA are looking for. But okay, let's watch the guy on the right.
His left hand on the right is almost like he's unhitching a cable. So pay particular attention to the astronaut on the right hand side and his left hand. So let's have a look. And again, what's he doing there? Once more.
Maybe, just maybe, he was putting his hand in his belt buckle, or maybe, just maybe, the arm movement seemed a little strange to us because he doesn't have a downward force acting on his arms like he would on Earth. I mean, I've heard of grasping for straws, but come on, man.
It's almost like our mate there is doing his little trick with his harness there to stop himself moving a bit too far. Again, rumbled.
Guys, is it just me, or do none of you watching see a harness there either? Or even any evidence of a harness? It seems to me that Level Earth Observer is being a dumbass and making things up. But you can all come to your own conclusions. Next up, we have a brief video from a Flerf that thinks Elon Musk has rats over 8 feet long.
Saturday, May 30th, 2020, a live feed was aired by news and government outlets showing SpaceX and NASA collaborating to launch two astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, into orbit to join the International Space Station. The launch finally took place at the Launch Complex 39A in Florida after a weather delay on May 27th, 3 days earlier. Many viewers noticed a small rodent crawling across the Merlin engine during the broadcast.
Yeah, apart from the fact that the apparent rodent would have to be bigger than me, there is only one rodent that I know of badass enough to hitch a lift to space on a rocket.
He's amazing. He's the strongest, he's the quickest, he's the best. Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse.
While that sounds cute in itself, the moment this rodent made his live TV appearance was after the rocket carrying the two astronauts had achieved an altitude of 200 kilometers, which is approximately 124 miles high. And the craft was traveling 13,000 kilometers per hour, which is 8,000 miles an hour, or Mach 10. The rodent moving around on the engine metal was seemingly unaffected by the immense speed, air friction, extreme temperatures, or lack of oxygen. Saturday's footage leaves many clear-thinking scientists and physicists to question the validity of these claims in media productions. A mouse shouldn't be casually walking across the metal engine of a craft supposedly traveling at Mach 10.
I can guarantee that not one single scientist or physicist looked at that and thought it was a rodent of any kind. What you're seeing is solid waste from the rocket exhaust. If we speed up the footage and watch, you can clearly see more of it accumulating. Other angles even show how it builds up and slides round to the other side. There are also missions with better lighting that show the phenomenon more clearly and even see the solid waste fly off into space. That literally took me 2 minutes to research. Flat earthers are all dumb as fuck. To finish off, let's take a look at a flat earther called Tim Osman of the Infinite Plane Society. He thinks he has caught SpaceX faking everything.
Look at the two launches, one on the left, one on the right, or landings rather. These are the SpaceX Falcon 9 landings. The one on the left, which is slightly bluer than the other, is from May the 30th, 2020. And this was this Dragon capsule that took the astronauts to the Magic Flying Castle space station thing.
So, old Timmy Boy has two videos up, one which says it was from the recent launch and one that says it is from 2016.
So what I want to draw your attention to is the still shot that we're looking at now, the frame, because these are purported to be 4 years apart. So what we're looking at shouldn't be carbon copies of one another.
And he is actually right. If there is a recording of two different events, then they shouldn't look exactly the same. But here is the thing. Flat Earth research fails once again. The footage that says it is from the SpaceX launch a couple of weeks ago isn't. SpaceX haven't even put out a camera angle like that from the recent launch. Someone took the launch from 2016, recolored it, and posted it claiming it was from the recent launch. And then a flat earther saw a video on YouTube and just believed it without ever checking to see if it actually came from SpaceX, which it categorically didn't. An example of flat earthers literally believing anything they see on YouTube. And with that, that is all the stupid that I can take for today. I want to once again thank Simon, Dan and NASA for forcing me to cover for Dan, and if you'd like to see more of me, then please head over to my channel and subscribe. I release regular videos debunking the nonsense that comes from Flat Earth, and I do a live debate every week with my Monday night debates. Come back to this channel on Tuesday as Simon Dan returns to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday. And remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the Flat Earth. Fight the flat, fight the flat, fight